Like when I first came here, like I didn't speak the language, but I had some skills. I knew all the editing stuff, all the video stuff, and I knew how to DJ. So like, I used to hang out at Kupanyan.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
exactly. I used to just hang there at first, and after a while, this guy Busse, I don't know if you remember Busse. He used to work there.
Yeah.
Bogdan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I met him through Stefan and Robin and all the rest of the gang. And he knew I was a DJ, so he was starting up, every day playing at Kupanyan. So I asked him if I could play, because it's like, when I first came here, like I said, I was playing hip hop and R&B. And hip hop was still pure here in 2000 even. It still felt like there was still kids walking around with backpacks and writing rhymes on the bus and all that stuff. And people were still doing graffiti, so I felt like I had kind of gone back in time to a better era of hip hop. So I wanted to somehow help to maintain that, like I do now with techno. I wanted to do that for hip hop back then. But then when I was DJing at parties and clubs and stuff, what I realized was that people didn't want to be informed. They just wanted to dance. So they just wanted to hear the pop stuff, whatever was popular, whatever was the thing at the moment. And it's like, that wasn't really the music that I was into. You know what I mean? So I kind of gave up on that idea.
But gradually, you were part of Social Hazards,
yes.
And gradually you started to play more and more techno and house. And
well, what happened was, because Socially Hazardous, we were doing trance parties at the time. So, when you play in trance, then you have an alternative floor. And there sometimes I play little funk, little old school R&B, Curtis Mayfield and stuff like that. Or at least it felt a little bit too much of a drop off to go from trance to funk. You know what I mean? So it's then I started playing a little bit of house, a little bit of, big beat techno and stuff like that. And then as the vibe started switching away from the trance to more kind of the style that I was playing, then I got switched over from playing on the alternative floor to playing on the main floor. Technically, we never said we were never a thing anymore. We've never stopped doing things. But most of the members in the crew, they now have kids. They have businesses. Taking different paths in life. So it's there's no we're not a crew anymore. Officially, but we never officially said we're not a crew. Officially, we were 7, kind of 8. For a while there, Kenneth was a part of it. Kenneth
Kinuna?
Yeah.
Was he a part of it?
For 6 months, a year. Yeah.
Okay, because he started another...
Exactly. He started to Samas and all the rest of those things afterwards. And he was a part of Social... Peter Van Halen, he was a part of Socially also for a while. But then...
Peter Van Halen?
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
So,
he died
I know
actually.
all these guys. I know all these
He was in a
guys.
car accident a few years ago.
Were there any women in the team? No women?
No. That would have been a distraction. Can't be planning things with women, nah.
But you had lots of women on the dance floor.
Yeah. We had women on the dance floor, we had lots of women DJs, but there was never officially a woman in our crew, no. It was hard enough keeping the 7 of us together.
Yeah.
Because it was whenever you have so many people together, someone always takes the lead, of course.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not really a follower. And I didn't have the how do you say, the credentials to be a leader. So all I could do was kind of inject ideas from time to time. So that was my role. Ulla would be the leader.
Yeah.
I would be the yeah, that sounds good, but what about this? And he'd automatically say no. Every idea I had, it was nope. And then a year later, it'd be 20%, 50% of my idea. It's you know what I thought about? You know what we should do? It's motherfucker, I told you that last year. What are you talking about?
You came here with a wife and child, and then suddenly you met a crew of DJs and party fixers. How did that happen?
Well, at first, I didn't have a job when I first came here, but I had a lot of money. Because I had saved up money and I had some money. I got into a car accident actually.
But you were in university.
I got into a car accident
Okay.
And they had to give me money for my car because my car got someone else hit my car.
In the States?
In the States, yeah.
Okay.
So that happened. So that my car got totaled, and then we kind of did some finessing,
Yeah.
and we had a pretty good amount of money when we came to Sweden.
Okay.
So for the first 6 months I was here, I didn't have to work. So that's why I could go to like all these parties during the week and
So how did you find these parties?
through Stefan and through Mishi and those guys.
And how did you know Stefan and those guys?
I met Stefan through Mishi, and I met Mishi because I was in the subway station and I needed to get smoke.
Okay.
I was like, that guy looks like he. Well, actually, my daughter's mom said that. She was like, that guy looks like he smokes. So I went to him. I was like, yo, bro, can you hook me up with some smoke?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, meet me tomorrow here at this place, blah blah blah.
And
then
he came up.
yeah, he came and he had Stefan with him.
And he introduced you to Social Hazardous? Or
Well, there was no socially hazardous
no,
then.
no, but the
Like,
guys who started Social Hazardous.
Stefan introduced me to Robin, Peter, and Tubab, who I'm still friends with now. Tubab.
Who is Tuba?
You don't know Tubab? Carl Axel. He doesn't really come out so much, but he's also a close friend of mine. Carl Axel.
Axel.
Carl
Tuba.
Axel. That's his real name, yeah.
Please now, 11 minutes, 10
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, yeah.
Give me
Yeah, got you.
everything you have.
Yeah. Well,
So what is the intrigues? What is the, I mean,
well, the funny thing is, there never used to be a lot of intrigue before,
no?
because it kind of felt like everything was a bit more pure before.
Yeah.
People were more honest. People kind of like were themselves. They said what they meant. You know what I mean? But the last few years, it's been like a lot of, like, what I would say is this: the influx of the new women, like when the normal society women started coming to parties, everything changed.
Really?
Yes, because I would say that influenced the women that were already in the scene to change. It went from dreadlocks and neon clothes to H&M clothes, to straightened hair, and everything had to be a little bit more
Sophisticated.
exactly, because the downtown girls came, because you remember how it was in the beginning. No one talked to, you didn't go to parties to pick up on people. But then the downtown girls came and they were all drunk and cleavage hanging out and flirting around and stuff like that. So all the guys were like, oh. And all the girls that's been to parties that was interested in those guys was like, what the fuck are you looking at them for? You could have been looking at me all this time. Oh, because she looks like that. And then,
So it's because of the downtown girls coming
yes.
into the scene?
Yes.
But what about the downtown boys coming into the scene?
Where is downtown in Stockholm? Is that
Stureplan, the normal places.
Into the techno scene?
Yes. Like,
But what about the guys with slick hair and
girls don't change for guys. Guys change for girls.
okay,
Normally.
yeah?
You know what I mean? Normally as it is, if a
I
guy's,
was thinking techno scene is all about, gays and people are there to dance and
it used to be like that. It's not like that anymore.
it's not like that anymore.
No.
Okay, so please tell
When
me.
did this
When did this
girls
change?
come?
I would say I saw that change happen maybe around 2010,
Yeah?
2012, somewhere around there, where you had this, like it became a bit more acceptable to go to raves or to go to underground parties. When you had stable places like Kort Fabriken.
Yeah.
Kort Fabriken, I think, was like this new generation's, turning point.
Yeah.
I think when you started having places like that were close to town, it was right in the middle of Seoul now. It's accessible and people can go there. And they were like a little bit relaxed about their membership rules.
Yeah.
Even before that, Crew 2 Set. Crew 2 Set brought in a lot of regular people, because you had Kornel Kovacs and Gandalf and Axel Bohlmann and those guys. When they had their, because that music isn't really, it's not hard, it's not threatening, it's groovy. Everyone can understand it. You figure you can take your 80-year-old grandmother to a party like that, and they're like, okay, this is groovy. As opposed to you take them to a industrial techno.
No, it's not the same.
You know what I mean? So I think when at least as far as I saw it, Crew 2 Set changed a lot. And then you had Kort Fabriken.
For the better or for the worse?
I mean, I think it's up to the people that's putting the party together to be consistent to what they want to do.
Yeah.
I don't think they should change things to be like, oh, I want to attract these people. I want to get these trendy people. I want to get these people that's only here for this or whatever. So I don't think it changed it like for the worse or for the better. I think it just added more people to it.
It became more trendy.
It became more acceptable. Yeah, and more trendy maybe, yeah.
Even though it was like outside of the city center.
Exactly. I mean, it made it more like accessible to people. And that changed the dynamic because you had a lot of girls coming. Like I said, I saw how the change in women changed everything.
Okay.
Because the guys were like, what? There's girls at this party that I could talk to? Or even more, there's girls at this party that want to talk to me? I mean, because all these downtown girls, they would come and see, you know, the guys with the long dreadlocks and, you know, well built, different dressing style, you know what I mean? There was still like this core of like techno people.
Yeah.
So it never became like they took over, but they definitely influenced.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I wouldn't say people started, like, I wouldn't even say that the promoters started playing different music. I would say that a lot of them kept doing what they were doing, but because the market became bigger, or the amount of people they had to appeal to became bigger, then it automatically changed the dynamic on the dance floor, or the dynamic, you know, in the vibe in the crowd in general. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Because it's like, I mean, young people between 20 and 35, you go out, you get a little bit of alcohol in you, whatever, put another couple of substances in you, start feeling a little spicy. You want to go, hey baby, how you doing? Or hey boy, how you? You know what I mean? But that idea wasn't there before. Before it was like you talk to the people that you come with, you dance facing the DJ, you go home with the people that you came with. But then when these people came from downtown that didn't have this thing already inside of them, they had the meat market idea from Stureplan and from East and all the rest of these things. And they come to these parties and they're like, you know, the girls will be like, hey, how you doing? And the boys were like, what? I feel like there have been people that started, and when they started, they continued like the vibe of like softer, more that softer music that more people can appreciate.
Yeah.
Like the more groovy, like the stuff like I said, like Cornell and those guys do. It's more, people can understand it easier. You don't have to have this background in techno. You don't have to have been to Berlin to get it, you know what I mean? You kind of like, oh, this is groovy, you can groove along. But then I kind of feel like the promoters that would, like, for instance, Aya became big over all this time, but he didn't change his style. He kept on doing, you know, the same techno that he was doing all these years. Just because the crowd became bigger, then more people started going to him. It's like, oh, that's happening too, let's go over there. And because they've been introduced with this softer music, I mean, the whole Swedish house mafia, as much as people hate the fact that they existed and all the rest of these things, I think it did a lot to expand the audience in Sweden. Because people became, like, all of a sudden, electronic music, even though it's completely different. I am by no means saying that Swedish house mafia is the same thing like what we do in the underground scene on any levels. But
There was like a parallel system.
or no, it opened the door.
They opened the door.
Exactly. It's kind of like, oh, you go to East or wherever the fuck, I don't know what these places are anymore. You go there, you hear this, you know, so you get used to the,
Yeah.
and then you go to the next part, it's like, it's the same, it's more, it's a little bit darker and a little bit heavier, but you're already used to that part of it. So it's kind of like an introduction, like a gateway to a lot of people.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you about the
Elly.
Elly.
Electronic. Think electronic.
Elly Awards.
Yeah.
Elly Awards.
when Peter died, I thought he was a special person. Peter Van Halen.
Oh.
When he died, I felt like his family's well off. His family's like up there in the social status of Sweden. You know what I mean? And to see someone that has all of Sweden at his feet, hanging out with us, the outcasts, you know what I mean? The people that were like, that he shouldn't be hanging out with. You know what I mean? Especially because I see Stockholm as being people are very in their box in a lot of ways, especially rich people. They kind of stay in their little rich crowd and they hang out with their rich, and they pretend like there's something that they're not. And when he died, I kind of feel like we need to create something for people, for special people when they pass. We need to have something that's kind of, that immortalizes these people, that kind of keeps their memory around. And then another friend of mine died, Ola Claesson, the guy that did all the artwork at Kupanjan.
Yeah, that was the guy.
So when he died, I was like, okay, now I really have to do something. So I came up with this idea to name the awards after these people. So like at the Elly Awards, the award for Man of the Year is called the Peter Van Halen. The award for Art and Deco is called the Ola Claesson Art and Deco Award.
You actually honor them.
Exactly. And by doing that, it's also honoring the people who are alive now. Like whoever's doing the best deco, they get a little thank you for what you did last year type of thing. Whoever's like a good guy at the parties. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Beautiful.
So that was the motivation behind it. It was basically trying to create something where my friends who passed away can be immortalized. And the people who are still alive can get a little respect while they're alive. You know what I mean? So that was the motivation behind it.
Beautiful idea.
Thank you.
So we have to actually also find out about these friends who passed away to immortalize them in our book.
Yeah.
And
Like
that would be nice.
Yeah. I think like the people that were most influential to me as far as like the scene is concerned were Peter and Kevin Czar. You guys know Kevin Czar? Oh, Kevin was so fucking crazy. Kevin Czar. He used to always be at Docklands. He's been around since the Docklands days. He's also one of the first people I met.
Okay.
He had blue hair in 2003. He had blue hair. He was super gay, super flamboyant gay.
I can't remember him.
No, I think he moved to Amsterdam. Yeah. He moved to Holland, and he actually got AIDS while he was in Holland.
Did he?
Yeah, and he died from that.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was also like, he didn't believe that it was a real disease. So he was looking for all these alternative medicines that were going to cure him. So he actually had a session with a shaman, where they were supposed to lick a frog, and that was supposed to cure him from his AIDS. But he didn't tell the shaman that he had like no T cells at all. His T cells were like almost on zero. So when he licked the frog, that actually killed him.
But I mean they're closing now. But maybe we can take some questions.
We can continue maybe the week after next. Or something.
Yeah, whenever you guys
We
want.
can have
Yeah, I mean this is now until 2024. 23.
We are now the last 20 years when you came to Sweden, so I think you have lots to...
No, but what I mean is this is going to be released in 2023.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of years, it's all
have
good.
a couple of
Check
years.
back with me.